1:03, and I want to leave enough time for us to really even kind of talk through what you guys are dealing with, what you guys are hearing, what you're feeling, and all of that too. Plus, we're going to cover Homebot. Next week, I'm going to skip. I'm going to go off script, and I want to talk to you guys about buydowns, like the temporary buydowns, the permanent buydowns, because for those of you guys who have been around for a long time, buydowns was something that we did often. And then I remember in 2018 us going, oh my gosh, people are freaking out about rates. Let's change the script and show them how they can still have this, you know, December 2021 rates here in the middle of July of 2022. But in 18, we were thinking the same thing. We're like, how do we give people the low rates since the market has shifted and changed? And so we got the buy down calculations back out. We refreshed our minds on how to calculate it. And then all of a sudden rates dropped. What I don't think we're going to experience is that shift. We're in this environment, I think, for another at least 12 months. So people right now, I want to remind you guys, people have short-term memories. Like I could commit murder tomorrow and I would be headlines all over the place, right? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that. But you know what I mean? I mean, I could do something really, really big. 60 days from now, I could be, I'm not going to say that out loud, but people forget they have short-term, but I totally get what you're saying. People have a short-term memory. So my point is right now, interest rates feel icky to people, especially if they were looking in January, they didn't find anything. And now you're telling them the payment's going to be $200 more for the same house. So now they either have to accept the increase in the payment or they have to shop in a different price range. Well, you guys know what has happened to price ranges. So you got buyers that are still like, they're comparing what was to now, and it's not the same. So they don't know what to do. Let me remind you guys that your brain works by whatever it comes across that's new and different. It is looking for something that is similar to it in the past, and you create your narrative based on past experiences, right? So everybody's experience is different. So the narrative they're creating in their head is going to be different than what it would be for the next person you pick up the phone and call, right? So if they're new to the market and they don't understand how rates change over time and that it's just part of the market, all they know is what they experienced, which is short term because they're just now in the market. If someone like myself who's been buying and selling houses for the last 30 or 35 years knows and understands that everything in life has a cycle in a season. Our weather has a cycle in a season. Our moon has a cycle in a season. Everything has a cycle in a season, and we're just in a cycle of change. So for me, my point of reference is different because I've been through it before. So I feel more comfortable with the fact that I know whatever we're experiencing right now is just right now. And I don't know what the future looks like, but I know based on past history that it will cycle back around, and I just have to wait. So people are at that point right now where they got to decide, number one, they got to get over the emotions and the thought process of what's going on in the market and what do I do about it? What decisions do I make based on what's going on? But my brain is telling me based on what I experienced 6 months ago that everything costs more. And now on top of that, I can't even find a house in the price range I was looking in before. And now these sellers want more money and I got to pay more money per month because interest rates have gone up too. And by the way, so is everything else, right? So they're in that emotion. So just be really aware of, we as professionals are responsible for telling the full story and reminding them that this too is temporary. And owning a home is a basic, home is a basic need, whether you rent or you buy. And rents are going up more than housing is going up. Rents are going up. So you either decide, are you going to rent and pay 100% interest to a landlord with absolutely no control over what that cost is going to be in the future? Or do you stay where you're at if you currently own a home, knowing that the home no longer serves your needs? If someone was looking for a home 6 months ago, there was a reason that they were looking for a home. It wasn't because it was a great deal, because there weren't great deals to be had. So there was a need there, and you guys have got to reconnect them with the need and help them get over the emotions of what is new about now versus then. So we have a lot of work to do to create the narrative for them so they're not creating their own narrative. And the best way for you guys to do that is over the phone with one-to-one conversations. It's also one of those opportunities anytime you have to talk about the market and what's going on at Rotary, at Lions Club. Look for those speaking opportunities. You guys, we are responsible for controlling the narrative. We need y'all's voices out there telling people the truth. And the truth is that real estate is still a great investment. And if you need any materials, if you need any data, you need any charts and graphs, or you need anything that helps you tell that narrative, ask me. I have it. Yes. So I have one comparison. You guys know and understand how houses have gone up in value.
Yeah, we understand.
Right? So we know that. But now the concern of the buyer is it going to go backwards? When we post price reductions, when we post, call it price correction, call it price improvement, it doesn't matter. In the minds of the consumer, the seller is now lowering the price for whatever reason. You and I know that they probably were expecting too much in the first place. They listed the house thinking that it was 3 months ago or even a month ago. And we need to make adjustments based on what we're seeing now. They don't know that. All they know is that they are going, see, I told you, values are going down and the market's about to crash. We control the narrative. So how you frame what's going on and why you're reducing the price matters. So one of the conversations that I wanted to have with you guys tomorrow, next week, is how do you change that conversation to, if the buyer is concerned about interest rates and the increase in the payment, and the seller priced their house too high, what if the seller were instead willing to buy down the buyer's rate, permanent or temporary buy down? And I'm going to show you guys next week how you can save them 3 and 4 times more a month with a buy down than you can in a price reduction. So we'll go over that tomorrow, next week, because I want you guys to change the narrative. We are tomorrow. Monica, it's tomorrow, right? That I'm going to be at your office. At Better Homes and Garden, once a month, I am there and we're going over the 7 habits.
Yes.
Yeah, it's tomorrow, right? 9 o'clock.
9 a.m.
So last month, we talked about the win-win. And this next week's conversation is really, how does the seller win and how does the buyer win with the buy down? I'm going to show you guys how to calculate it. I'm going to show you how to talk about it. I'm going to tell you how to flip script and take the price reductions and turn those price reductions into great opportunities for your buyers. We'll go through all of that next week. So please talk up next week's class in your office, because we are responsible for how people feel and they emotionally react with the words we are using when we do videos, when we do posts, and when we're talking to people face to face. And then I want you guys to feel comfortable about this enough that you're willing to go be presenters every opportunity there is to talk about this. because we can create a stir of fear, or we can show people the opportunities that we have right now in this area. And so just spread the word, because I think it's really important conversation. Does anybody want to talk about or have anything to add in regards to that before we move on to Homebot? Yeah, it's been, I was showing the team today on how to do that, because how many of you guys got your license in the last 2 to 3 years?
Well, for the second time.
Yeah. How many of you guys on the call have only had your license for a couple of years? See, so it's a conversation that is not familiar with you guys. So I think you guys will be like, holy cow, that's really cool. Awesome. Well, I'm glad I switched that up. And then we're working on the fall series. We've got some really good classes that we're putting together for fall. We're going to do another appraisal class, because I think that things are shifting and changing. The other thing that I'm getting and receiving a lot from you guys is, hey, look at the condition of this house. Will it go FHA? Will it go conventional? You're texting those pictures and asking those questions. And I think it's because a lot of your sellers are wanting to sell houses as is, and you have buyers. I think we'll see more and more FHA buyers. And the reason is because people are using their charge cards. As people use their charge cards, their credit scores are going to go down. Their ratios are going to go up, because now they're having to pay back some debt that they've had in deferment or forbearance. And so now we're going to be fighting debt to income issues on top of higher interest rates. And for those reasons, we're probably going to see a lot more FHA buyers. In the past, we didn't see FHA buyers because it was cash or conventional. Conventional 20% down, or cash was winning the bidding wars. So I want you guys familiar again with property conditions. And then if we start seeing, I don't think that we're going to see any issues with value unless you have sellers that are still asking too much for houses, or you have condition issues that is affecting the values. So we'll make sure that we cover appraisals. I like having those at least once a year, because things just change and you guys really need to have the ability to ask appraiser questions. And then we're also going to make sure that we cover title policies and how to read these title commitments. And the reason that this is more important now more than ever is because people are subdividing properties. And so the survey part of that matters, and also making sure that the title search is done correctly, so that, you know, you're parceling off land. And so knowing the title side and the survey side of that, as well as knowing and understanding these UCC filings that we are now seeing for water filtration systems and for solar panels and for other things that people are financing that are personal properties attached to the property that convey with the property, but they won't convey if there's a UCC filing that you guys were unaware of, and you're figuring net sheets and don't know that there's a UCC filing for a debt that has to be paid off before the transaction funds. And sometimes on those solar panels, we're talking about $40,000 or $50,000. So how awful you would feel if you did not disclose those costs when you were doing a net sheet, and you find that out when you get the title commitment 2 or 3 weeks after you're in a transaction. So we'll cover that in the fall series. And then if there's anything else, we put together a really good roster, I think, so that we're covering solar panels, title commitments and surveys, appraisals, and then we have some marketing stuff in there, as well as, what else was it, BJ?
Let me look.
She'll put it in the chat, what classes that we're going to have coming up in the fall. So we'll start that in August. I think it starts in August. So we're rolling straight into, and those I will pay. I'll write the check to Trek to get the majority of those as CE classes, so that you guys can attend them for CE. We've got a couple of newer folks on the call, so I just want to remind you guys, make sure that you have registered for this class on the Event Brite using that link. Because when you do, that's the list that we use. When we have CE classes, you'll pay for your CE through that list. Yeah, go ahead and log in there, because that's the list we use to give you guys a copy of this recording. It's also, we'll send the slides, and we will send information on the next class. So, and any handouts. So just want to make sure you guys are signed up so that you get all of that information. So all those classes, if you are unsure about what classes we're teaching, michellecastle.info. If you click on the education tab, it always itemizes all of the classes. You click on the links, it'll take you to Event Brite and you can register from there. If you click on the partner resource tab, then you will get, there's all kind of flip books and downloads that you guys can use for your business. So, and then I have a podcast. You can sign up for the podcast from that link. There's all kind of stuff in there and you can use it to give to your clients too, because it's got the home tab. So I try to keep everything that I do all under there. All right. Homebot. What do you guys know about Homebot? Does anybody know anything about Homebot and have any questions? They're using it now or have heard about it somewhere else or have seen me talk about it. Cool. All right. God, y'all are brave souls for showing up for something you don't know anything about.
I was like, what does that mean? That BOT? What is that?
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, it's artificial intelligence. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to pull up Homebot so you can even see what it looks like. And then we're going to go through this. Of course. Got too fast. We go. All right. I don't have the statistics. I should have grabbed the statistics, but you guys would be absolutely shocked at the surveys done year after year after year, where people don't remember who the real estate agent was several years after the transaction. I know all that work, and you would be shocked at how many people do not stay in touch with the real estate agent. But if your only way of staying in touch with them is a drip campaign built out in your CRM, and it's the same drip campaign that everybody else in your agency uses, people will block you or they'll unsubscribe because it's not relevant information. So if you don't have a birthday program where you're calling and texting or bringing a gift by or whatever, you're not going by and dropping off pop-by gifts at their homes, you know, maybe every quarter. If you're not calling them or sending them a card at Christmas or offering something during the holidays, whether it be pies or whatever it is, if you're not staying in touch with them for their anniversary, and all you're doing is relying on your CRM to send them something that reminds them to clean their gutters or to, you know, change their air filters, and it's generic, it doesn't apply to them specifically, they might opt out, and over time they will forget who you are. I don't have the other, there's some math that you can do, and you would basically take what your earnings are for the year and divide it by the number of clients that you served, right? That's the value of every one of your clients. But if you start really tracking your numbers and you know how many clients you have to talk to in order to get one that wants to go look at houses, and then how many people do you have to work with that are interested in buying a house to get one under contract, and then how many of those under contract actually goes to the closing table and doesn't fizzle out over inspections and get frustrated and quit. When you know your numbers, you know the value of every person you talk to. And probably, depending on your stats, the national average is it's about $400 in value for every person you have a serious conversation with about buying or selling a home. When you start really breaking down the value of your conversations, you start taking your conversations a lot more serious. The national average is that 20% of your referrals, like this is a warm referral, 20 to 25% of your warm referrals, if you're really good at what you do and you do a great job of follow-up, will actually close and fund.
What percent? 20?
20. That's a good average. So when you really think about how many people do you plan on serving this year, and you know that you just divide that into 20%, then you know how many people you got to talk to on a monthly basis in order to fund that many transactions per month. And then you really think about the commission that one transaction is worth, reverse engineer into it, but it's going to probably be about $400. My point to all that is, it is worth your time to stay in touch with your people. Because, right, like for us, 55% of my business comes from my database. It comes from customers that I have served in the past or referrals from those people. But I stay really close to my database. I've already won them over. They already think my team is amazing. And I don't have to go through the whole process of reminding them, hey, I have a great team and no, you're not going to work with me, but my team's going to take great care of you. They already know because they've experienced it. So my conversations are shorter. My chances of getting them under contract the second and the third and the fourth time is better. I mean, like they're not using anybody else. Same thing for you guys. You need to be the only person they would ever think of if they ever had any questions about building out that outdoor kitchen like they've wanted to do. And how much is it going to add the value versus how much it's going to cost. You ought to be the front of their mind and the only person they think of to call. But if you're not staying in front of them, they're going to Google it. And there's people like me that buy Google AdWords. So if I was a realtor, I might go in there and buy up some words on, what would how much would putting in a pool increase the value of my home, which is 0. But those things that people would Google and ask for, people will buy those words. And so if they're not Googling your name in their mind, they're going to go to Google and you're going to lose them. Or they're going to see something posted on Facebook and they're going to click and send a message to that person instead of seeing something on Facebook and going, hey, that's kind of cool. I'm going to call and ask Carla and see if that's true. That's how top of mind you guys should be. So in order to be that top of mind with them, you have to really have a good strategy for staying in touch with your people. And one way that we do that is through Homebot. And so I wanted to show you this because it's so easy, it's so affordable, and your people love it. Again, I don't have the statistics. You guys, I'm a real general. I'm like a big picture person. So all of these statistics, I know there's a statistic out there and I remember going, wow, but I can't ever remember the exact statistic. That's why I can't rattle these numbers off the top of my head. But the open rate when you send newsletters out is typically what, 10%, BJ? Isn't that correct?
That's really lower than that. More like 5%.
Okay, Cindy's saying 3 or 4, so, and you're saying 5. So when I show you that the open rate for Homebot is 78%, you guys see this on the screen, right? Am I sharing?
No, you do need to share, please.
Oh my goodness. Yes, you guys on the call are going to go, what?
78%.
Yes, people love this. I gotta find y'all and then I can share. Where are y'all? Oh, there you are. That's why I thought I was sharing, because you guys are already a little screen. Okie dokie. Can you see my screen? Can you see Homebot?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. So you guys, 78%. Typically that's in the 80s. It's huge. I'm telling you, whenever I was shown this, I was like, yeah, right, whatever. I don't believe it.
Wait, what is the percentage for? You said open, what is it?
This is how many people are receiving what I'm about to show you and are actually, so 1,823 people. Now you guys got to remember, I've been putting people in here for a long time, but 1,823 people that have bought a home using Castle Team. 1,422 have opened the newsletter this month. This month. All right. 78%. It's a huge number. That is not normal. People love Homebot. So I'm going to show you why they love it and how you can use it for your business. So, and of those that have opened it, 47% looked closely at the value of their home and did some, thinking and clicking and reading. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a few minutes. Now, it also has a section for home buyers. So we have just recently started putting people that are pre-approved into the home buyer section. And the reason we wait till they're pre-approved is because if I set them up and we put the perimeters in for a $350,000 house, and then we get their application and we get their paperwork and we find out that, yes, they make this overtime, but only for the last 2 months, I can't count it for the loan. They really need to be looking at 275. Then I don't want them upset. And I just don't want those emotions that they go through, right? So we wait till they're pre-approved. You guys can choose to do it however you wish to do it, or you can skip putting them in as home buyers. But I highly recommend, even though it's only at 57% open rate, that is still way above average. Okay. So here is what is absolutely cool about this. Now remember, Homebot is called bot because of all of the artificial intelligence built into it. So I can tell you right now, 2 minutes ago, Chris has looked at other markets. He's a homeowner, but he is looking as if he's going to buy a house soon, and he's checking out the market. Now, statistically, people will start pushing buttons, do their own research 100 days before they will pick up the phone and call you. It's just a conversation right now in the household. Or maybe it's just a conversation that Chris is having. I happen to know he's divorced, so it's all in his head right now, unless he's got a significant other. Maybe that's why he's looking. But this is a small town. I got to watch what I say. So I now know I need to reach out to Chris and see what in the heck how are you doing, Chris? How are things? How's the family? Whatever the I just have a forward conversation, family, occupation, recreation, dreams and goals. And when I get to dreams and goals, it's already a conversation, and now I can hear what in the heck he's up to, right? But 30 days ago, he had already started looking at the market. So he is 30 days into checking out what's going on in the market. I don't know what he's thinking. I just know he's thinking. All right, you go down to the next guy. He also is checking out the market because it's got, viewed homes market. He's looking at the value of his home if he were to list it. He's thinking. And that was just last night. He's a midnight thinker. And then you look at, so I can go down every single day. I know exactly who I need to reach out to for the day and just check on him. The first thing I would do is look and see. I would check him out, see what's going on in his life on Facebook. I'd look on Instagram. I would look and see if I've missed a birthday for some reason. I would look all of this stuff up. So when I make a phone call, I'm having a conversation because this is someone I have a relationship with. Same thing, I could click on the active buyers and I would see the same thing. So every single day, I know what's going on in the minds of my people. because I can see. And they're opening this up every single month, the majority of them. Almost 9 out of 10 of them are opening this up and looking at it. So what are they looking at, you ask? Let me show you. Well, let me go back one more, just so you can see that what you saw a while ago was just the tip of what is available to see. Oops. Now I'm in a different category, but we'll still look at this one. All right, so look, I can see the history of exactly what button she's clicking. Look how active she is. Now, what we are going to do on our end, we look these people up. We're paying attention to this every single day. We're going to look her up, and we're going to see who helped her buy a house or looked at a house last time. And based on that information, we're going to reach out to you guys and go, hey, how long has it been since you talked to Christy? Because here's what we see is going on. But wouldn't it be better if you were paying attention to this yourself? And when Christy opened this up, she not just saw Guild Mortgage, Michelle Castle team, but she saw your information and your picture right next to it. So I know all of the information just in case you forgot about her house. Look. So she's thinking about doing something. She's got a 5-bedroom. How many of you guys might have a buyer that's looking for a 5-bedroom? Now you get to pick up the phone and go, hey, I see that you guys are maybe thinking about doing something. I have a buyer that's been looking for the last 3 or 4 months. Can we talk? The information's sitting right there in front of you. But not only that, if I click over here on Preview Digest, now you'll see what the customer sees. What they see is what the values are doing. And what I tell people all the time is in this area, it's really hard for a computer to tell you exactly what your home is worth. This just gives you an idea of how the sales in your neighborhood are affecting the value of your home. But if you have any questions, you need to hit that tune value and make the adjustments, or click the button down below where it asks for you to take there's another button a little bit further down that will allow them to ask for a CMA. If they ask for a CMA, I'm reaching out to you because I don't do CMAs, but if this was you, you'd get the CMA request and you would pick up the phone and have a conversation. All right. So it also has in here, it's going to calculate what the value, how much equity they have in the home. You guys do not have to have anything but the address and the information, because there is a national database called MERS. It's a mortgage electronic recording system that reports all of the mortgages on properties. So you do not have to load this information. It will load automatically, no matter who is the lender. Now, if they go and get a swimming pool built in, oops, I just went back too far. If they build a swimming pool and they ended up getting a lien, it may or may not show up. They may have to go in and add that lien, because it just really depends on how that company is reporting their information, because it's not a mortgage loan. All right, so you've got the equity. All right, now what's important about this information? It's going to, depending on the customer and the information, remember this is artificial intelligence, so this is going to be different for every customer. It's going to tell you how your buying power, your purchasing power based on how much equity you have in your house has changed. It's also going to tell you you could use X number of dollars out of your equity. This is how much $114,000 is available to use, because they can only borrow 80% of their appraised value minus what they owe. And it's calculating it for you. And then you want them to share this with their friends and their family, because all that's doing is automatically building your database of people that are going to receive this on a monthly basis. Now it's also going to break out how much they paid in interest and how much they paid in principal. It's going to give them the terms of the loan. So you guys know this person is paying 3.99% interest. if you had Homebot, like several of the other real estate agents, maximize the opportunity when we had a refi boom, because they knew what rates were and they could see what their customers were paying. So they went down through their Homebot and said, hey, have you noticed what's going on with the interest rates? Are you guys loving your house? Do you love where it's located? If you do, then now might really be a great time to refinance. Typically, you've got costs associated with the refinance, no matter what all of these letters that you're receiving in the mail say of zero cost refinances. There's still costs associated. We all have them. All they're saying is that rolling them into the loan amount. Is it worth it to you? And the answer of that question only depends on how long you plan on staying in the house. So how long do you guys plan on staying there? Oh, only for another year or two. Now you have this great conversation. What are you guys thinking about doing? Where do you think you might be going next? Why would you consider doing something? Have you seen how much equity you have in your home? Do you want to go ahead and do something now? And they were turning those refinance phone calls into listings left and right, because they had all of the data that they needed right here in Homebot. They can also go in here. Everybody wants to save money and interest. Interest is just a cost. It's a cost for borrowing money. Of course, you'd want to save money. So they can go in here and they can do this little slider scale on what it takes to get the house paid off earlier, or how much they would need to apply to the loan in order to do that. But also, it's going to turn yellow or green when it makes sense for them to refinance, and it's going to go ahead and update what market rates are looking like. You guys do not have to do any of the figuring. It does it for you because of artificial intelligence. All right. So then it also gives them other options, other things for them to consider if they were going to do something different. Now, you already know that they're thinking about doing something different because you got the notice. So now you have all of the information that you need to have a really good conversation. And the data is going to be different depending on the scenario for each individual person. It's not stock. So now there's other things that you can do. There's other ways that you can use this. I just wanted you guys to really start thinking about the possibility and how much easier it is to stay in touch with your people, talking about the things that matter to them most, which is affordability, saving money, and doing smart things with the equity of their home. I would not be where I am today financially, where I'm not worried about the shifts and the changes that we're going through, if it weren't for the power of appreciation and owning real estate for the last 30 years. Buying and selling and buying and selling and just trusting my gut when it's time to make a move. And I want that for everyone, because there's just something cool about having the peace of mind knowing that you made some smart decisions based on owning real estate. And the sooner we can get people to own houses, the sooner they can take advantage of the power of compound interest and compound appreciation. And if they wait to own, they're only costing themselves money because homes are going up. I mean, you could sit there and you could show folks how their houses, even right now, you saw that. I mean, it went like this, but it's still like this. And over time, it's still going to go up in value. So the sooner we can get people owning homes, the sooner we can help our country as a nation with the financial crisis that we have. You guys don't see applications like we do. You don't see the amount of debt that people have, and you don't see the lack of savings that they have. It's scary. You guys can help that by teaching people how to use real estate as an investment vehicle. That's what we do. We're professionals in real estate investing. And investing does not just mean that you're buying it to rent out. Investing is owning and allowing the values to go up. And then as you gain equity, doing smart things with the equity. Now you have, so that's on your database side, right? So then your home buyers, from what I have heard, and you guys are the experts, not me, this is a better search engine than anything else that's available in terms of some of the stuff that you guys have to offer. And it's really, really user friendly. And you get all of these algorithms all in one spot for your current database and your prospects. So it's easy to have them all in this one spot. But being able to put your buyers in here so they can watch the market as it's going, and then you have the algorithm is huge, and then the open rate is high and the opt-out is low because they're able to see all of that information. So how would you use this? Of course, we talked about using this for your current database, but okay, Monica, I'll cover that in just a second. But I want you guys to be thinking homeowners first. So homeowners, they currently own a home. They may be thinking about buying, but if nothing else, they still need to be paying attention to their homes, values, and all of the opportunities that there are based on how they finance the house. So any home buyer, think about your kids, your friends, family, just acquaintances. Would this not be good information for any homeowner anywhere? They don't have to just be in your database. You guys could build your own CRM, build your own database with information that's really helpful to anyone that owns a home anywhere. So when you're thinking homeowner, it does not have to be someone you helped. It could just be you guys picking up the phone going, hey, listen, I just learned about a new tool. I think it's super cool. I've signed myself up for it. I've received the information and it's just so cool. Do you mind if I go ahead and sign you up? Because I'd like your feedback as well before I start using it on all of my customers. And use that to build a database of people that own homes. When they see how much equity they have, when they see what they could possibly do with their equity, they might raise their hand and go, hey, you know, I didn't realize that I had those options. I didn't realize that I could use maybe some of that equity to get rid of some of this credit card debt that we have piled up. And no, that might not help you sell a house today, but you helping them get the relief that they would feel getting rid of that credit card debt just because you shared information with them could be why they call you a year from now or 2 years from now, or refer you, or have their friend go, oh my gosh, that is so cool. Show that to me too. How do I get that? And then all of a sudden your database starts growing. Same thing with home buyers. So if you've got home buyers and they're getting all of this information and they're seeing how they could use this information to help them make different leverage, they'll start adding people too. And it starts building your database for you. And now all you got to do is reach out to these people and have conversations with them based on facts and figures that you're looking at. You don't even have to ask them how much they owe on their house. It's right there. So Monica, let me just show you some more of the home buyer screen. Did you have a specific question?
No, just wanting to use it on both sides for sellers and buyers. And I do have a pool of buyers that I could get set up on it if I knew the value of it.
Like? Yeah. So let's say, okay, in this case, he owns a home, but he's looking at the market and is exploring what's going on there. Oops, I clicked on the wrong thing. Hang on. Let me see if I can go back easily. I'll just go in. I may not be clicking on the right thing here. I may have to go in as a home buyer and on a different side. While I'm on this screen, let me just tell you this real quick. So see where it says record? You can because the open rate is what it is. I have learned to start giving market updates and what's going on in our area through Homebot. Because then whenever people get their digest, right before they open the digest would be a picture of me and a play button. And I try to keep it at 60 seconds or less. They open that video up and play it more often than they would if I had emailed it to them. And remember how powerful video is versus just reading words. And so you can message your database through video. Remember, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. So they can't like you if you're not human. I was reading something the other day, and it's not even business to business, business to consumer. It's human to human, right? So if you just really change your framing on how you're saying that we are in a human business, video is a really good way of humanizing you. So you could do a video right here where it's like you called her, you missed her, you send a text. So you could record a video right here and say, hey, I noticed that you were clicking around on a couple of different screens within Homebot. I did notice that the value of your home is jumped quite a bit in the last 12 months, but I also noticed that you've done some tune-ups to the value. I wanted to just talk and see what you've done to the house. Maybe you've made some improvements, or maybe you know something about what's going on in the market in your neighborhood. I'd just love to have a conversation with you and also see if you guys are still loving the house, still loving the location. But most importantly, I just want to check on you and the family. You could do that video if you missed them by phone, call, and email, or phone, text, and email. You could send them a video, or you can video your entire database. So I just wanted to point that out because it's a really good way for you to humanize yourself through your database or anybody else that is in here. All right, let me go back to client and see when someone's a buyer and a owner, where I get the buyer screen. I may have to do something. Hang on. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to just go straight to a buyer. So this is a report that this buyer is getting based on the parameters we stuck in there as far as sales price. So this will tell him right here, based on what he's looking at, is just all the stats for that market. And it lets them know if they're in a buyer or seller market, just based on those stats. It's going to give him just average information. And then he can click on this button and actually explore the market and what's available and what areas should he be. I mean, like, all of these tabs are in here. Any of these buttons that he pushes, you're going to get an email. So you're going to know that this person just clicked the button that says, what area should I be looking in? You need to pick up the phone and call them. Is there new construction I should know about? All of that is going to be triggers for you to get a notification. And then how long could it take to buy? So based on the average days on market or the close time, all of that information is going to be there. And it's going to update every single month based on market data. How do I get started? How do I shrink these timelines? Blah, 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 blah. But it also is going to have all of these graphs and charts so that they have all of this information as well. And it's even showing them how their buying power has changed based on rates. See? This is why your people are freaking out. July last year, July this year. Even if you were to reverse it back to January, they may have been looking at a $438,000 price range. And now, just with those same information, we're not factoring in now the student loans that they're paying. We're not factoring in the minimum payment on these credit cards that they've charged up. just based on the information being the same, except for the interest rate. That's how much their buying power has diminished. All right. Just them seeing this and you knowing that. I mean, this is like a reality check for you guys as well, right? And it helps you understand how to communicate with them, feeling their pains, because you can see what they're receiving. Does that help you, Monica?
Very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. So using this, you can also share this. Here's another idea that I had. What if you were to have an open house and you were to have door knockers that says open house coming soon? You could print them out generic so that you can just put a property address in there so you can order in bulk. Open house coming soon, put the date and the time and put the address, and go do this around in the neighborhoods and let them know VIP neighborhood viewing, and maybe put it 30 minutes before. You got nosy neighbors. They all want to see what's going on, right? And they're just probably tire kicking. Maybe they know someone that might be a good neighbor for them. But you could up your game by having a QR code that goes to the form that they would fill out online. And the QR code right above it says, scan here if you're interested in how the sale of this home is going to affect the value of yours. And have them scan it. Then they're going to just put their name and their address and their email address and their phone number. Now they're going to get a Homebot from you every single month. And then on the other side of that same door hanger would be another QR code. And that one says, yes, it would work in Oklahoma, Michelle. The other question would be, scan here if you want to be the first to know about other homes available. And you could even put it anywhere in the US, because this is not based on a geographical location. You don't own a territory. It's available anywhere in the US. So you would have 2 QR codes. So now your open house opportunity to meet prospects allows you to use the entire neighborhood to prospect to for buyers and sellers and build a database. And it's a lot easier and a lot more fun to build a database that way than it is to go stand on the street corner with the sign that says I'm a realtor. So the other way you could use this is, what if the sign-ins, it is hard to get people to sign in and leave their information. So what if you had one of those plastic stands, those clear plastic stands? They're 8.5 by 11. So all it is just a regular piece of letter size paper. And you said the same thing that you do on the door knockers. So instead of asking people to sign in, you just have them scan in. And they can decide if they're a homeowner or they're a home buyer or both. They may be thinking about buying a house in Montana because they're sick of our 110-degree weather. They could sign in as a home buyer for Montana in a zip code, Kalispell, Whitefish. Those are really cool places to live. And they could scan themselves in, and now they're in your database.
What did you say on the back of the flyer? What was your thought on that?
If you were doing on the back of the flyer, the door knocker for the buyers, I would say interested in any homes anywhere in the US, and scan here. Interested in checking out the values of any home in the US, scan here. And then the one for the homeowners, interested in knowing how the sale of this home affects the value of yours, or you just say, you know, how the market is changing and how that the values of homes are changing in the market, you know, however you want to say that. BJ's really good with wording too. But it helps you turn those open house opportunities into prospecting opportunities in a, I mean, it's like 10xing it to me, or at least 3xing. So, all right. So the cost, what is the cost? The cost is free for the first 25 people that you put in. And then after that, it's $25 or $35 a month. $25 a month, Cindy said. She just signed up. You have to be sponsored by a lender. You cannot do it on your own, which is why I'm here today.
You said there's a $50 fee. Yep, because I just paid $75.
So there's a $50 setup fee, and you can upload your database if you already have a database, or you can individually add them. When you individually add them, it literally is name, address, and name, address, phone number, and email address. If anybody is still not sure whether or not it makes sense for them in their business, then you can just email me and I'll add you, and you get a digest for a month or two and see if it's something you want to do. Or sign up for the free version right now and add in a couple of people that you know, including yourself, and receive it for a couple of months before you decide if you want to start adding people. My thoughts are, and a lot of people that use this very successfully, and there's several real estate. I have, I don't know, 20 or 30 people on Homebot currently in our area. And some of them use it very effectively and actually get a lot of business from Homebot. In fact, some of them are big top producers in this area, and a lot of their listings for the last 2 years have come from the Homebot list. But I lost my train of thought. Oh, but they all started, most of them started by receiving first and understanding the value and then building it out from there. But a lot of them, they put it in, like whenever you go to the closing, before they finalize, you know, you got your CD and you have all of that stuff, that's when they're putting it into the system. When you get to that finish line, before you file that away, they go ahead and enter them into Homebot on each one of the transactions. Now, I will tell you the one thing that Homebot is also doing, this is really tricky. Diane, whenever you do sign up, it's free for the first 25. That's just part of the package. I was going to tell you something. What was it? Dang it.
Tricky part.
Something
you know,
new that
signed
they're
up
doing.
and they're gonna post
Oh, this is artificial intelligence tricky. Oh, so cool. So what what Homebot's doing right now, and I'm on a beta for this. So anybody that is on the buyer side for me right now, that also goes to Zillow to look and see what's on the market. So they're on the buyer side for me, but they clicked over to Zillow to also look and see what's available. Then all of a sudden, my Homebot information, and yours would be too if this was a co-client, shows on the Zillow screen and gives them that still hot or cold or buyer's market or seller's market, and all of that overlays onto the Zillow. And that is right now with the Chrome browser. It's artificial intelligence. It's just IO. Yeah. Or AE, AI. Yeah. Yeah. So my point is that even if they leave Homebot to go look and see what's available on Zillow, because like it or not, people are still searching on Zillow, which is why we talked about reviews a couple of weeks ago. You guys need reviews in Zillow, even if you don't use Zillow or buy leads from Zillow, because people still show up on Zillow to look around. Anyway, it will overlay because we know that the information on Zillow isn't 100% accurate. So the Homebot stuff will overlay on top of it. It's pretty tricky. They're only using that right now with the Chrome browser, I believe, but they'll expand it out as they continue to beta test it. Anyway, all right. Does anybody have any questions?
Has Homebot been around?
I've been on Homebot for 3 or 4 years, and they were around for several years prior to that. When we logged in a while ago, Homebot, the guy that shows up on screen and you could see him talking, but his name is Eric Colby. He used to be my crush, man. I didn't tell my husband that, and there's no guys on here, but I just thought he was just so handsome. But he was one of the first on Homebot, and that's been a good 10 years. Yeah. So it's been around for a while. Yeah. I just was slow to implement because I'm like you guys, like you just get hit up with so
many
much
things, yeah.
that you're like, man, no, not another thing. But then when I saw people have such great success, I'm like, okay. And then Guild came out because Guild saw so many people. I mean, like it's made a huge difference in our retention. And so because of the increase in the retention, because we service our loans, so it keeps them connected to us, that they then provided the subscription for us, just the basic subscription. So now I just pay, when you guys sign up, I have to pay a little extra. So don't sign up if you're not going to use it, because you're costing me money if you're not using it. You're making us all money if you do use it. So please don't sign up and not use it if you're going to sign up as an agent. Or if you sign up and you don't like it, unsign up. So I'm not billed, because I'm billed for every individual person that's using it. Yeah. I mean, it costs me a lot more money than it costs you guys. But I mean, we believe in it because it works. And that's why I wanted to share it with you guys. I don't ever share, show, or teach anything that I'm either not currently using, or if I'm not currently using it, but I'm about to try it, I will let you know. I won't ever, I'm very transparent about that. And I always practice what I preach. So
How compatible is this program to Chime?
I don't know.
Chime
It
is another,
says CRM.
yeah, CRM, very similar. But
I bet it doesn't integrate. I mean, this integrates with our Salesforce, so I know it has integration capacity. And when you sign up, it has this whole list of things that it integrates with. I don't remember seeing Chime on there, but you could always just reach out to them and see if they're looking at adding that.
I get a lot of links from them and I send emails,
Mhm.
but honestly, I have not had sales or
Does anybody have any other questions? Michelle, does that make sense to you? I mean, you guys, you could go all out on this and actually use those QR codes like we were talking about on anything. I mean, like if it were legal, you could have chloroplast signs put on the street corners that says, you know, interested in what your home is worth. People would scan that. But I mean, so think about it. Like you could go into Canva and create stickers with a QR code and just go plaster stickers everywhere. And now I can't tell you what you guys have got to have on those stickers from a regulation standpoint. I'm sure you got to have your name and your license number, just like I would have to have all of that information. Thank you, Michelle. But think of the possibilities. Anybody that owns a home is curious about this stuff. So, God, there's a bazillion different ways to use this to build a database of people that will receive something that is information that they all want and need, with your name, your number, your face on it. Please don't sign up for this without uploading a current picture of yourself. And remember, if the picture of you is not a picture that they would, if they wouldn't recognize you when they see you in person, change your picture. Just be you. I mean, heck, if you don't normally wear makeup when you're out showing houses and you normally dress casual, that's what your picture should be. So, yeah, I mean, we all, I'm trying to get comfortable without being, without makeup. So you wouldn't normally catch me without makeup because I just haven't crossed that threshold yet. But I look at every one of you guys that are comfortable doing that. You inspire me to go do that. So be proud of it and go do it. I mean, just take pictures of who you are the way you are. Because whenever they open this newsletter, they need to feel it's the human to human connection. So anyway, all right. Well, I am going to go put on some tennis shoes and go to the gym.